Mavericks as that big of a threat. No disrespect to them. Luka's a star. We know that. His supporting cast really shows up usually when they're in Dallas, not so much on the road, although there have been aberrations like their Game 7 performance in Phoenix. The fact of the matter is it's really been about Luka and Jalen Brunson as it pertains to consistency. Nobody else has been able to be relied upon on a consistent basis, not to mention the fact that they're a bit soft on the interior. They have no rim protector. They have no shot blocker. And because of that, that puts them in a very vulnerable state. So whatever I see the Golden State Warriors do against them is of minimal importance to me. What I pay attention to is Golden State's ability to make shots. I know what marksmen they possess. And I'm looking at it from that perspective. And I'm saying, are you going to make shots? Because this is not the litmus test. The Dallas Mavericks are not the Boston Celtics, and they are not the Miami Heat defensively. Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics have athletes. They have individuals on the interior who are rim protectors. And as a result of that, they can make things very, very difficult for you, especially the Boston Celtics with a healthy Robert Williams and a healthy Al Horford. So I look at it from that standpoint, and that's what has me worried about the Warriors. When you're down by 55 to Memphis and you lose 2 games in a row to them, when you were supposed to close out the Dallas Mavericks, I don't mind that you lose. I mind the fact that you were down by 29 points. Those are the kind of things that concern me. And on the side, Doggy, last but not least, I feel compelled to mention this. Let me tell you what I disagree with Steve Kerr about. I would not have reinserted Steph Curry into that game last night, and ultimately Andrew Wiggins thereafter and Klay Thompson. Those reserves were in the game with about 10 minutes left. They were down about 29 points or so. Steve Kerr had basically brought the guys on the bench and essentially conceded, this is not the game that we're going to win. We're going to go back to Golden State and win Game 5. And Jordan Poole with Kuminga, with this kid Moore, I believe, Moody, I'm sorry. You had others in the game with him as well. They came off the bench and closed it to within 8 with just under 4 minutes left. I would have left those dudes in there. And I would have rode that wave. And I would have said, hey, now it's his discretion. He's one of the great coaches we've ever seen. Okay, it's all hindsight 2020. But I'm just telling you, for me, the way they were rolling and the difficulty the Dallas Mavericks were having in guarding them, I would have left those guys in that game. I'm just concerned about these huge deficits that they've had in the last 2 rounds of the playoffs, knowing what's waiting for them in the NBA Finals.
I agree with you 100% on bringing Kerr back in a game. I went to go look. You saw it. Curry. You saw it. I did not. These 29-point blowouts in these playoff games, that's a different topic. Can we have a halfway decent game, please? Can we have a ball game with the 5 minutes to go? It's 96-96. I mean, you all hang in there. I mean, my goodness gracious. And these games, the best game so far we've seen in this series was Game 2 when Dallas played very well, could have won, and Golden State pulled away in the fourth quarter. I understand your point. I wouldn't have put Curry back in the game either, but a quick dunk by Doncic. I looked at the play-by-play sheet. That's how I know. Off a Maverick timeout, quickly got that lead back to 10. So I don't know if that's that big a deal. You are 1,000% right, but I'm not going to make too big a deal about that. I also don't want to make too big a deal about Golden State losing. They haven't lost a home game yet in this postseason. They won't have home court against Miami, so they're going to have to win a road game there, but they didn't have home court against Memphis, and they figured out a way to win a game in Memphis. They are going to be very difficult to beat. I don't like getting killed by 29 points, but let's give Dallas some credit. Doncic is a wonderful player. I think he's a top 3-4 player in the league. That's how good I think he is. And they made some shots. They shoot 1,000,000 threes. The ball went in last night. It did not go in in Game 1 and in Game 3. The ball went in last night. I'm not going to make too big a deal about it. I'd be shocked if Dallas won Game 5, and maybe they'd be competitive, but I'd be shocked. Golden State's very good at home in these fourth quarters. Yeah. They come from behind a lot in these fourth quarters. They did it to knock out Memphis. They did it in Game 2 in this series. They did it a couple times against Denver. They are great at bouncing back because they got so much offense. The crowd's great and everything else. So I don't want to make too big a deal about it. Your point is 100% right. That is a bad look. You're down by 29 points. And I would have kept Kerr on the bench too. But I think in the big picture, all this is nice talk for us on Wednesday. By next Wednesday, they'll be in the final. You and I won't discuss it. They'll win Game 5. Give Dallas credit, but they'll win Game 5.
Yeah, well, I think you're wrong there. I think you're wrong there. I think we will discuss it because we're seeing vulnerabilities from them from a defensive standpoint. Their inability to stop the opposing offenses, their inability to make sure they avoid being down by 20 or 30 points. These are not things you can afford to do, say, if you end up going against the Boston Celtics, which I still believe will end up winning this series against Miami in 7 games. These are the kind of things that you got to watch out for. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they're an offensive team, though, Stevie. If they score, they're going to win. You got to outscore Golden State. I mean, they have so much firepower. You got to outscore them. They're going to have home court against the Celtics. We can't love what we see with the Celtics. They're very erratic, too. Tatum has a great game, then he stinks. They're erratic, too, and I don't even know if they're going to get by this series. I think they're going to be okay. I know you're higher on them than I am, so I can't pick them because I can't be the same as you. But they'll be okay in that NBA final.
Stephen A., let me ask this. Do you think it would have been a bad look for Luka had he gotten swept?
No, I don't. Not in this particular series because he showed up. You know, I mean, the fact of the matter is that the one thing, when Dallas goes home, because I believe they will, nobody's going to look at Luka and what he didn't do because he's been spectacular in these playoffs. And to be as young as he is and as gifted as he is and to have the minimal amount of help that he has and still able to do what he's doing, the pressure's going to be on Nico Harrison, Mark Cuban, and Jason Kidd to get him the assistance that he needs to supplement what he brings to the table. That's going to be the mentality of the Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Maverick fans everywhere. Nobody is questioning the greatness of Luka Doncic. All you're doing about Luka is looking at him and saying, okay, the time has arrived to take it to another level. Not your game, but your conditioning, so you're better defensively. That's what they're looking at with Luka Doncic. But as an offensive talent, there's no question about it. He's one of the top players in the league right now already, and he's sensational, and he shows up in big moments. He does not fold or wilt beneath the pressure, and that's what you look for before you classify guys as great.